your load, this should not do this. So I wait for them to take it out of the, I never knew there was such a thing. I never knew there was that safety. And when I mow, I like to stand up. So I wasn't mowing, I was rototilling. And, because you could be looking around and, you know. So
I should have went to that part.
So
In there. Oh, did it go?
I turned the PTO off, started it back up, started working, and about in a minute later, it shuts down. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, it's a pleasure to be able to do this in person. My understanding is that our meetings will still be broadcast and will be on YouTube as has been done in the past. The public is now permitted to be in attendance at our meetings, and we invite you to attend if there's a matter that you wish to speak to, or if there's nothing good on TV and you want to come down to the town hall for some drama, we invite you to come down. The first item on our agenda is a consideration of the Zoning Commission's recommendation to approve a text amendment to Article 3, Section 3.07B, and B, that is B2 and B3, such that the text amendment would conform to development of the law of zoning, particularly a case known as Duncan versus Middlefield, which set forth factors that are to be considered by zoning commissions when somebody requests a variance from the literal text of the zoning ordinance. I want to say in particular that this technical proposal has been posted on our website. The proposal was the subject of review by the Summit County Planning Department, and they recommended its adoption to comply with development of the law. It was submitted to our zoning commission. The zoning commission has recommended the adoption of the change. I will not read the whole change. It is somewhat technical, but it sets forth the standards for when an individual is requesting a variance from the strict rules of our zoning resolution in a situation where they are saying they can't meet the area or dimensional requirements of a lot to construct on or otherwise to make additions. The second, and that's the section that 3.07B2, and in B3 deals with a situation where somebody believes that the use that they're requesting on the lot, that they're entitled to variance. It lays out for any area and dimensional variances like 7 factors that must be considered. If it's a request for a use variance, it lays out 8 factors. And these are factors that we didn't imagine or conjure up. It's factors that in the one case, Chris Kissel versus Sandusky and Duncan versus Middlefield, cases out of the Ohio Supreme Court. And in the second case of use variance, a hardship standard established by the New Jersey Supreme Court in Brandon versus Mount Clair. And so, to be in compliance, I'm going to move to replace the existing text in Article 3, Section 3.07B2 and B3 with a text that conforms to that law, and the text having been recommended to us by the Summit County Planning Commission and our own zoning commission, and as published on our website.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute, before we vote on it, is there anybody here who, because it was on the website or knew about it being considered, wants to speak on the matter? Hearing no one, I will ask you to call the roll.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Okay, it is, our zoning resolution will be amended to that effect. We will go into some general business. I move to dispense with reading the minutes and approve the minutes to date.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. I move to approve payment of bills and payroll as prepared by our fiscal officer, Mr. Spicker, who sits by the right hand of the chair. Subject to audit.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Next, I move to accept the resignation of part-time firefighter EMT Ian Murray, effective May 21, 2021.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Next, I move to approve a resolution declaring it tax levy and request the Summit County Fiscal Officer to certify the total current tax valuation of the township and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by that renewal levy pursuant to revised code 5705.91I. I just want to note that this is a total renewal levy, and this is the first step that would be necessary to place it on the ballot for renewal. It happens to be a levy for the operation of the police department. Am I correct in that matter? Stating
In the fire department. This is
That's
fire.
right, I'm sorry. I meant to say fire.
Yes.
Are you inclined to second?
I'll second.
Non-pro-tunc, authorizing Chief Simone to bid up to $1,700 on a WatchGuard charger transfer station from Gov Deals and to be paid from Fund Line 2905-210-430. Just for the benefit of the people listening or watching, do you want to explain what we're purchasing there?
A couple of, I think it's been a couple of weeks ago on Gov Deals, we had purchased 20 WatchGuard cameras. They are the body cams that the officers wear. And then during this bidding, we bid on the charging stations for those. One charging transfer station is typically around $1,500 to $1,700. We ended up purchasing two through Gov Deals for $1,700. So that's what that's for, is to be able to charge some of those items that we got.
Okay.
I will second the motion.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Next is the question of the condition of the property at 996 Seneca Trail, Akron, Ohio 44312, which happens to be tax parcel number 51-08910. And the issue before us is whether the condition of that property constitutes a nuisance, and if it does, we would initiate abatement of that nuisance under the provisions of revised code 505.87. The condition reported to us by our zoning department is also has been presented through photographs of current situation. I want to note for the record that the
owner of this property actually appeared during our work session and has requested the opportunity to deal with the problem at that property. It is the general policy of this board to encourage people to take care of their property and at the same time to do it in a timely fashion on the recommendation of our zoning investigator, that we give the owner some additional time, and upon the appearance here and the promise that that would be done, I'm simply going to move that we continue this matter until our meeting at July 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. And at that time, we will review it and determine whether the recommendation or the representation by the property owner has been complied with, and if not, then we will determine the condition of the property and take appropriate action. So I'm just going to move that we continue it to our meeting of July 8, 2021.
Second?
Roll call, Mrs. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. Next, because of our heavy agenda of serious government business, and contrary to the desire to have the summer off, which, you know, strawberries are blooming, there's all kinds of good things to do other than to be at the town hall, I regret to move to set a special meeting on June 24th. Is that the right date?
Yep.
At 6 p.m. That's my motion.
Second?
Roll call, Mrs. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. Next, I'm going to move that we go into executive session to discuss potential employment of a public employee.
Do we have any
Oh, yeah.
from the public that we want to
Oh, that's
hear from
right,
today?
that's right. It's so,
They're a little out of sorts.
it's, before we would do something like go into executive session, I'm going to say that I don't have any particular announcements to make, except to say that we have returned to Friday night concerts.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say.
Okay. Do
You
you want to
beat
go
me
ahead?
to it.
Go ahead and,
I just wanted to report that we had our first concert last Friday, and I thought it was a very good concert, and we had a good crowd for the first one of the season, and it was bluegrass, and you just never knew, you know, how many people you were going to get. It really was a good crowd. I think everybody was glad to get out. It was a beautiful night. It went great. So hopefully it won't be raining like it is right now, and hopefully we'll get another one in tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be just as beautiful.
Are they going to do Rock the Docks?
No Rock the Docks this year.
No,
Pardon?
no carnival.
yeah, we are going to try to resume some of the other summer activities, so I think the food truck rodeo,
Fireworks?
I believe.
I don't
you
think.
know, we
Haven't heard
did,
anything on fireworks.
Yeah.
I think the food truck rodeo, I believe they're still trying to get a car show put together.
What'd you say about fireworks?
I don't believe so.
that usually is part and parcel of the
Rock the Docks.
Rock the Docks. I mean, we will ramp up and be 100% next year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
It's going to be better than ever next year. It's going to be worth waiting for.
So, at this time, if there's anybody here that wishes to entertain us with important issues, I shouldn't say entertain, educate us Okay,
Come on.
Mr. Dees. Because there may be other people who are not familiar with you, we do know who you are, but we ask you to state your name and where you reside.
David Dees, I live on 1184 West Parkway, just up the road here, right on the lake. And I would just like to, as the last meeting and every meeting that I have been to, we always discuss the condition of the lake. As you know, I'm sure you talked about and heard the scuttlebutt that the EPA has come up with a guideline for Lake Moore's non-existent forced main that comes out of their pump that's pumping into the lake, okay? They didn't give them any kind of timeline or anything, but that's up to them and whatever. I'm just more concerned about West Parkway and our side, the Springfield Township side. If the EPA comes down on us and says, okay, you got to do something about this pipeline, if we are proactive, if the township's proactive on, okay, we got this all set up that we're going to put in extend this sewer line and bigger pumping station, whatever we're going to do, if we were proactive on it, have we moved forward? I know last time I was looking at maps that had, that, you know, yeah, we might do this, we might do that, we might do this, we might do that. Well,
Okay.
has anything moved forward?
Yes, I want to report.
Thank you.
First of all, certainly I don't say that you can't, if I say something and you want to engage further in discussion with us, as you know, this board is not a full-time job, but we want to be serious about the problem. We are grateful that the EPA has begun a process to try to deal with what we think is the larger contributor to the problem, but that doesn't absolve us of responsibility. So we have, because of our limitation in time and resources, this board has authorized one of our own citizens to begin helping us in some of the specifics. And you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Michelle Moyer. And I received an email as recently as, I think today or yesterday, I didn't see it till today, that she has set up a meeting with a representative of CT Consultants to begin the process of proposing to us a plan that the stormwater that flows off of the land to the north of us, that is at a higher elevation, be developed in order to prevent the stormwater that comes from that area flowing directly to the lake. So we recognize, based on work that I think you were involved in, that there is a concern about the content of that stormwater. That's the first thing.
Septic systems, correct.
Secondly, we have authorized her to begin the process of developing whatever are the specific options that we have for bringing sanitary lines to the areas of Springfield that are specifically in this area. Now, so that we do work sessions where we try to gather information. This board actually had 2 sessions that are specific to it. We invited Mr. Wendt, who had been the director of the DOES, which is the Department of Environmental Services, to really tap his brain on what are the options that we have and what are the procedures and the likelihood that we would be able to develop connections for areas here, and whether that could be involved with the Summit County Environmental Services, or would that require the City of Akron to be a participant. And, you know, we recognize that there's developed over time here around this lake improvement in the housing stock. certainly as an example, that somebody that's not familiar, if they would drive down East Parkway, they would see that people have invested some real money in their homes. And it would be a benefit if that area could have the opportunity to connect to sanitary sewer, and there's other areas. But it's not a simple matter, and I'm just saying that we have authorized Michelle Moyer as our representative to develop the options, and that would include determining, will that require petition by property owners? And are we talking about participation of the city, or is it the county? This board also had a session with Mr. Vinay. Is his first name Mike
Mike.
as well?
Mike Finay.
They got rid of one mic and they added another mic. So, and we spent, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour with him, asking him questions, and he indicated that he would be available further. And for what it's worth, Michelle was in that session. So,
That's all Summit County, and that's all fine and dandy, and I'm glad to hear it.
you know what? You probably ought to talk into the microphone, because the people at home hear us talking, they're going to hear me, and then you're going to sound like blah, 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 blah.
I'd rather be that way.
Yeah, well, that's what it sounded like the first time you came.
At any rate, you've said all these names are all Summit County. This building right here is not Summit County. That's Akron right up front.
Well, you mean the sanitary
That's
sewer,
correct. The
yeah.
sanitary sewer that's 2,000 feet from those homes that are right down the street.
Okay,
Okay?
the only,
It's right there.
the only thing is, if you take a poll of the people that have
Oh,
sanitary
they
sewer,
want Akron.
they don't want Akron if they have a chance.
I told you they're not going to cross
Okay,
lines. They're not going to go side by side lines.
Well, those,
That was 2 years ago.
That wouldn't go side by side.
That's 2 years ago. 2 years. 2 years ago, I was involved in that call. Summit County saying, we're not going to go like this.
okay, well, I wouldn't discourage you from having a sit-down with Michelle and to go over the specifics of what we learned. She's your neighbor, and I know you talked to her about it.
Believe me, we do a lot.
And you know, this isn't all that simple,
No, it's not.
okay? The question is, do we have to get either the health department or the EPA to say, there's a health problem here?
That's what's going to happen. And
Okay.
then the fine is going to be edicted and then hammered down, from the EPA.
Because-
I was just hoping that we could be a lot more proactive and Michelle's working on the storm sewer side, which is awesome,
No.
But I don't think she's working on the
Well, I think
sewer.
she-
You were mostly, weren't you?
Well, I arranged the meetings with
Yeah.
the two mics.
Which I commend you, that's awesome. I'm glad that we're moving forward with that.
Yeah, one of the things that we have asked for is, we've asked for some maps that will show us which sewers are whose and where they run to. Because we've got kind of a hodgepodge here. We've got Summit County sewers, we've got Akron sewers, we've got Lakemore sewers that run through here. Some of them are force mains, some of them are regular sewers. So we've asked for something to show us, what they are and where they are and who they belong to.
Well, rather than, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but rather than being a township trustee doing that, how about having a budget and get an engineering firm to figure that all out?
Well, the
Well, that's
county,
the idea of CT consultants and why Michelle is
Okay, well, that-
working with us on that.
And they're working on the sanitary sewer.
That's going to be the discussion It's not just stormwater that she's looking at, she's also looking at the sanitary side of it,
Yeah,
so that we
okay.
can move forward with
You
this.
think otherwise, but,
I'm hoping that that's the truth.
well, we told her that that's, somebody has to dog us, number one, and number two, when they, put him on the payroll.
No. He's retired, I love it.
Okay, so, but not just dog us, but get some of the specifics so we know this is an option, this is an option. The third thing that she's involved in doing, as you know, that she's been an irritant to the Summit County Health Department.
Right.
And it's necessary that we keep bringing to their attention when we discover that there's a property that has an odor, that apparently has what appears to be a failing system, and they really need to.
It's like getting your head hit by the hammer all the time, though. It's, you turn it into Summit County, I've turned it in myself, and seen running water on the ground, and they come out here now. You will see it now. Send the inspector out now. I'm here now, on the phone, cell phone. Here I am. And it does show up for a couple of days, and then you get an email saying that
We didn't see anything.
it's all good and fine. I feel for her.
Yeah, well,
In the township.
I think that we have to think about what we can do to get more effective enforcement. But in the past, I mean, at least that's a step forward. In the past, nobody's been,
Right. We haven't, right now it just rained hard and we did nothing, and it just all went back out there, and now it's.
Right.
We've still got signs.
well, I mean, I'm not defending it, I'm just saying that, as you probably know, from the 1950s, that was the theory. The theory was that water should flow to a low point, like a lake, and let it be carried off to the Lake Erie.
Right, and that's.
And so,
Still does.
what are we dealing with? We're dealing with
It was.
50 years, we're reversing 70 years.
Right, just stop the human waste from going in the water.
Right.
I think it'll clear up.
Right. Right.
That's the key. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here that wishes to assist us? Okay. I'm going to move that we go into executive session to discuss possible employment compensation of a public employee or official. I don't believe that we'll have a motion because I understand under our regulations that the chair of the board is entitled to post advertisement, that if at executive session we would determine that we're going to advertise, that under the rules that we adopt, that the chair can do that. Do you agree with that, Mrs. Davis?
I'm not sure on that.
Well, okay, well, if I'm wrong,
You'll find out.
yeah. Okay. I have a motion that we go into executive session.
Second,
Roll call, Mrs. Davis?
yes?
Mr. Young?
Yes. Well, we stand adjourned, the public session stands adjourned.